is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Today was Bell Let's Talk Day, a day our parent company Bell Media focuses attention on mental health across the country. A heartbroken BC family is tonight sharing their pain and memories of a son and brother who succumbed to his mental health challenges. Here's CTV BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson.
We're here at the BC Liberal headquarters in downtown Vancouver.
Long before he was a student journalist filing his first live hit, Hayder Nayani's mom knew he had a gift.
Since the beginning, I saw that public speaking talent in him.
Hayder's younger sibling, Saif, grew up wanting to be just like his big brother, who seemed to have it all.
He was the kind of person that you instantly wanted to be friends with.
Hayder was his Port Moody High School's valedictorian. He went on to earn an economics degree, a broadcasting diploma, and excelled in marketing and sales. But he didn't seem satisfied.
It was taken as he's a restless kid and he's an overachiever.
It would turn out those were likely early symptoms of mental illness. In his mid-20s, Hayder began to experience depression and was prescribed antidepressants. Last year, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, started seeing a psychiatrist, and taking new medication.
I asked him to move back with us, and he didn't want to because he had an excellent group of friends, and they were very supportive.
A few months later, struggling, Hayder reached out to friends and family, then checked himself into the hospital. He was treated for several days, then discharged. Only a few days later, Hayder took his own life.
I lost my child there for that reason. The system failed him and I lost my child.
One of the hardest things about it is that he did everything right. He did everything he was supposed to do.
That's the thing, I can't understand that.
Despite their devastation and the perceptions of shame around mental illness felt strongly by many racialized Canadians, the Nayanis are speaking out in the hope of helping others in Hayder's name.
If you are struggling with mental illness and if you think it's depression, if you have any doubt, please get yourself tested for bipolar, because bipolar can easily go under the radar.
They are also creating a scholarship for journalism students at the BC Institute of Technology, passionate about advocating for the less fortunate.
So people who especially need, a voice, because that's one of the things that Hayder was really, big on.
And making sure his voice,
So it's a tight race, it's really close, and
is never silenced. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
CTV's Michelle Molesky now takes a look at the mental health services available here in Windsor, Essex.
The blank page before you, open up the dirty window.
Pure Mentality's socials are full of pure joy and truth.
We started a relational Instagram where we just talk about us being real people.
Once a week, the staff take a moment to record new content.
I'm sorry.
It might seem silly, but the result is simple.
I think the hardest part about counseling is starting. We want people to come and be part of our family and to see us as real human beings, because that's going to make them walk through the door. And then we'll take it from there.
Counseling is as little as $25 for people with no benefits.
You either eat or you get counseling.
Right.
And that's not okay for us personally.
It's not okay either at Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare, so patients can self-refer to a number of programs they offer.
Not everyone has a psychiatrist or has a family doctor who can diagnose these things, but we need to have accessible programs for people who are struggling.
DJ McNeil took a moment today to highlight a service that targets mental health disorders and addictions together.
If someone's experiencing, say, depression and overusing or misusing alcohol, or maybe they have anxiety and they're misusing benzodiazepines or opiates, the concurrent disorder program is one that would be a good fit for someone experiencing that.
For people with a doctor, many can now write a social prescription to catch a moment with the Windsor Symphony Orchestra.
A doctor might say to them, hey, why don't you try going to a concert? It's not going to cost you anything, and see how you like it, and maybe that'll help you to get a little pep in your step.
Becky Ng believes patrons and the musicians who are performing can benefit from one another.
Research tells us that when you put strangers in a room together and they listen to a live concert, their brainwaves on an EEG are matching. So there is this level of connectedness, whether you know the person sitting next to you or not.
Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Windsor's HART Hub, which helps those who need it most, say it's seeing positive results. Officials behind the Homeless and Addiction Recovery Treatment Center say in the first 2 months, 5 people have moved into transitional housing.
We've been able to take some of those, I'd say, more complex cases on that couldn't get services elsewhere. So some of the individuals, there was nowhere else for them to go.
Funded by the province, the HART Hub places service providers under one roof to help those in need. Agencies operate under space at Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare. At the end of November, around 29 people were on the wait list to receive treatment. The program lasts about 5 weeks before clients move on to housing options while still receiving care. The province has earmarked about $6 million a year to support this hub. After years of competing for government dollars, agencies say early success is due to collaboration.
We need to show that we are moving people through, and we want to reduce the number of people that repeat, and we want some good, safe success stories. We know there is large issues in all cities right now. It is increasing, so we want to show that this pathway and this collective service has benefits straight through.
In other news, strong words from Ontario's Premier today as he, Labour leaders and auto industry stakeholders trash-talked the trade deal reached between Canada and China, warning it could have serious consequences for our auto sector, even going so far as to say we're all in the fight of our lives. To unpack the news conference called at Queen's Park today, here's CTV's Chris Campbell.
We are in the fight of our lives here.
Canada's auto sector is raising alarm after a federal trade deal with China that will allow up to 49,000 Chinese-made electric vehicles into the country each year. Industry leaders, labour groups and Ontario's Premier say they were not consulted, warning the move could threaten jobs, investment and the future of domestic vehicle manufacturing.
The federal government's decision to open the Canadian market to Chinese EVs is deeply concerning.
The Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association says Canada's auto industry depends on secure access to the U.S. market and argues diversification is not realistic.
Diversification is not an option for automotive. Canada's market alone is too small to justify large-scale manufacturing.
Auto parts manufacturers say the deal undercuts protections put in place to seed electric vehicle investment in North America.
Making that concession in this moment makes the entire Canadian auto sector on shakier ground.
APMA President Flavio Volpe warns the scale of the deal could quickly ripple through the industry.
50,000 cars is about a shift at an auto plant. And a shift is 1,000 workers. It might be 5,000 supplier workers.
Labour leaders say workers fear a repeat of past trade deals that led to plant closures and job losses.
Auto workers are extremely, extremely worried about their future.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the province, Labour and industry are united in calling for a Team Canada approach, wanting the feds to drop their EV mandate and the fees around building or buying the vehicles.
We're sending a united message about the need to stand up in defense of Canada's economy.
Ford says he was disappointed the Prime Minister did not consult him or industry leaders before reaching the new China deal, urging Ontarians to boycott Chinese-made vehicles.
Boycott the Chinese EV vehicles. Support companies that are building vehicles here. It's as simple as that. This is a Team Canada approach. We got to stick together.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Now, this, of course, is a conversation with huge potential to impact our area. So we wanted to know how those at the heart of the story feel about what we heard today. Here's what some had to say at Windsor Assembly.
I mean, it's a little troubling, because we make an EV here. We have the big battery plant there. You want it to be bought from here, and you want it to be bought in a Canadian market. So bringing Chinese here for half the price, half the quality, people are going to buy them, obviously, and that's going to affect our jobs. I mean, we are fighting for our lives. Like, I just purchased a house, and I'm worried about that and growing a family and all that when, we work here and you got Chinese and you got the tariffs from Trump and all that trying to take our economy away, and it's unfair.
Hey, if they want to build Chinese cars here, I think they should manufacture them like Honda and Toyota. Instead of just trying to sell their cars here, at least open up jobs and manufacturing for auto workers and create jobs for Canadians.
The Premier also touching again today on the closure of Diageo's Amherstburg plant. He was asked how his repeated call for a Team Canada approach fits with his decision to ban the sale of Diageo products, a move other provincial leaders have warned could hurt production in Saskatchewan and Quebec. The Premier saying those leaders would be making the same call if the job losses were happening in their own provinces.
Well, of course, they're asking me to change my mind because find out what would happen if Crown Royal closed their plants and go down to Alabama. As simple as that. But I gave an olive branch to Diageo, and Diageo are the owners of Crown Oil. Show me a plan that's going to replace those jobs, and then we're good. But you can't take jobs out of a small town in Ontario that's been around for 100 years and say, come and support me.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And still ahead, why local police are urging drivers to avoid using four-ways during harsh winter conditions. Gary joins me now for a detailed look at the forecast.
Cold and windy tonight. A couple of centimeters of snowfall is possible between now and, say, 7, 8 a.m. And then we could see another wave of snow activity on the heels of that disturbance as we head towards Friday. Today's high actually over the freezing mark and, in fact, above seasonal. It's been cold, though. The early morning stage before dawn, we got down to about -12. It felt like the minus teens, about -17 to -19. You can see this massive system is pushing snow and rain and freezing rain towards the Atlantic coast, the mid-Atlantic states in the U.S. Meanwhile, snow across southern Ontario. We got a taste of that earlier. And then what's over Michigan headed our way, and what's over Wisconsin and northern Illinois. So there's your 1, 2, 3 punch for southern Ontario, and all of it's working east. So snow tonight, westerlies and northwesterlies with lake enhancement. I think there's a good chance that we could see wind gusts sustained at around 30 to 35 kilometers per hour. The sustained winds 30 to 35 kilometers per hour with gusts in the 45 to 55 range. In terms of the snow, and I always think of travel anywhere along the 401, right? That's a major corridor running east and west, west and east, and the worst case scenario is that if you are traveling over the next 24 hours, you will see snow through the overnight into tomorrow morning's commute. The timing has not been great. Is it ever with heavy amounts of snowfall? And heavy it has been along the eastern shores of Lake Huron for our friends in Goddard's Grand Bend, Kincardine, Southampton. And overnight temperatures have been colder than this, but this is still cold because it feels like about -14. So windy now, windy tomorrow morning, windy through the midday, afternoon, and evening. Sustained winds 30 to 40 with gusts higher than 50. And we'll see a high of -5 tomorrow. Again, 6 degrees below seasonal. But I mentioned sunshine during the 6 o'clock newscast, and it holds for Friday. It's possible. Might see some snow early Friday morning before it's clearing in the afternoon. A high of -12, though. Wow. 13 degrees below seasonal. And Saturday, Sunday, just colder still. The low on Saturday morning could be -21, feeling like about -28 to -30. Snow Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, fairer. Wednesday, back into snow and still below seasonal.
A day of dramatic and dizzying developments in Davos, with Donald Trump giving a 72-minute speech in which he said he would not use force to take over Greenland. Here's CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Melvin.
The U.S. president arrived by helicopter, appearing before business and world leaders, stepping up his demand to own Greenland.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it.
The president falsely claimed the U.S. owned the island for defending it from the Nazis during the war. It's Danish territory, but Trump wants it back, but backed off his threat to use U.S. force.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force, where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good.
That didn't stop Donald Trump's territorial ambitions, calling for immediate negotiations for the U.S. to acquire Greenland and threatening to tariff European nations that stand in his way.
We have no interest in picking a fight, but we will hold our ground.
But after discussions with NATO chief Mark Rutte, sometimes called the Trump whisperer,
I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic.
Suddenly, Trump announced on social media, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. The solution will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations, and taking his threat of tariffs off the table.
It's the ultimate long-term deal, and I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
And NATO pledging to up its presence in and around the island on land, sea, and air.
The area around Greenland is not longer a low-tension area. We have seen that we should be more active, we should invest more, and we should do more together.
Donald Trump won't definitely say if owning Greenland is part of the deal, but it could include renegotiating the 1951 treaty that allows for U.S. bases on the Arctic island. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
President Trump also calling out Canada's Prime Minister by name in his speech, suggesting Canada lives because of the United States. With more on those comments and the reaction in Ottawa, here's CTV's senior political correspondent Mike LeCouture.
I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful.
The U.S. president with some tough talk for Prime Minister Mark Carney. It comes a day after the Canadian leaders spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage.
But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Donald Trump didn't say which statements, but Carney's speech urged middle power countries to act together.
When we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness.
Trump also said Canada gets a lot of freebies from the U.S., but it's unclear what he was talking about. Some Democrats say the comments about our country are unfair.
Canadians have followed us into every major conflict we've been in, whether we were right or wrong. This president has so disrespected them that they're now talking to China.
Carney wrapped up his trade trip to China and Qatar with a stop in Davos, but he didn't have anything to say about Trump's speech. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on the president's speech. The two leaders also didn't have any interaction while in Davos, which could be a good thing, according to this former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations to then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canada will be well served to have a more dedicated, specific conversation with the president or his team in the coming weeks and months, especially on the topic of CUSMA as we head towards a review deadline.
And there's little time to waste, as that deadline to decide what happens next with the trilateral trade agreement is July 1st. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Stock markets bounced back after the American president said he would not use military force to take Greenland. The TSX was up about 100 points. In New York, the Dow added 589. The NASDAQ is up 271. The Canadian dollar gained almost a tenth of a cent. On commodity markets, gold is up almost $72 an ounce. Oil gained 26 cents a barrel. To a common move in bad weather, one many drivers swear by. Maybe you saw it on your blizzard-like drive to work this morning, someone driving with their four-ways or hazard lights on. Provincial police say don't do that. CTV's Sanjay Maru explains why.
It did not take long for our cameras to catch a driver losing control during the snowy and slippery morning commute. And in weather like this, another common sight, drivers turning on their four-way flashers while still moving, hoping to warn others to be more cautious. When you're driving through really snowy weather, do you put your hazard lights on?
Absolutely, because other drivers need to be aware of where you are, and it's hard to see, right? So if we know where we are on the road, then other people know where you are.
I saw people using their four-ways on Highway 3. It looks like you're slowing down.
Does it confuse you when you see people do it?
Yes, very much so.
That confusion is exactly why Ontario Provincial Police say using your hazard lights while driving is not recommended.
The whole point of having hazards is if you are the hazard. The common misconception is you're just driving a little bit slower or whatnot. That can confuse people who actually believe you are stopped or something is ahead.
But that's not the only point of confusion. Let's start by putting on our hazard lights. Now let's say I want to turn right, so I'm going to put my signal on to indicate to other drivers that I want to do just that. Absolutely no visual difference whatsoever.
It's a main focus that we're all kind of slowed down. The four ways is for like something I'm doing so everyone else notices.
I just drive like normal and kind of just more cautious and slower, but I don't put the four-ways on. No, I've never done that.
So other than instances where your vehicle is stopped and blocking a live lane, when should you activate your hazard lights?
If there is some sort of obstruction in front of you and you're warning people and you're slowing down to stop. The other would be if you're pulling over because, you know, the police officer's behind you.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
The Windsor Spitfires took on the Kitchener Rangers at home tonight.
Now here's a chance breaking in. Greentree scores, and the Spitfires take flight first.
That was Liam Greentree getting things going less than a minute into the first period. Things would tighten up after that, with Kitchener tying it up shortly afterwards. Unfortunately, though, it was not meant to be for the Spits tonight, dropping the game 3-2 in overtime.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. From cows to dogs, a special new Lego set has been revealed for adults. Take a look at this. The company has introduced a more than 2,100-piece golden retriever puppy set. It sits nearly a foot tall, and Gary, the new set is now available for pre-order, something I'm sure you're considering.
Well, I do love dogs. I have my own dog, Chocolate Lab. His name is Dino. And to combine dogs with Lego, one of my most favorite things to play with and collect, and that's a wonderful recipe for lots of fun. So it's great to see that. The temperature's not so great. If you don't like the cold, you're already struggling probably. But extra layers, a good recommendation for the next 3, maybe 4 days straight. The lows are bitterly cold and well below seasonal. Our average low for this time of the year closer to -8, -9. The average high closer to -1. And all of these temperatures, well, indicative of this cold snap, especially for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oof. Some snow tomorrow, 2 to 4 centimeters possible. And then some snow Sunday, and then a week from now, Wednesday. We will be using our shovels, and we will need those extra layers. Long johns, for example, a good idea. Wherever you are, stay warm, and good night.
Finally tonight, the story of a man who woke up remembering nothing and learned how to never forget helping others. Here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
One moment.
Oh. Uh-oh.
He's riding his bike.
Uh-oh.
Before suddenly collapsing.
And it happened like that.
The next moment, Ryan Heitinen was waking up in the hospital.
I forgot everything.
What do you mean by that?
Everything.
Not only did Ryan not remember who he was, he didn't know he was married with kids, let alone recognize the woman saying she was his mom.
I'm terrified.
Anne says her son had suffered a stroke before enduring brain surgery and being unresponsive for weeks.
At that point, they weren't sure if he was even going to make it.
Until one day, Ryan's wife and kids walked into his hospital room.
His face just lit up. Absolutely lit up.
I suddenly remembered I have a daughter and a son.
And we all kind of went, okay, this is what he needed. He needed a purpose.
Inspired by his family, Ryan has fought to learn how to do the most basic things again. And with the help of his healthcare team, is celebrating previously unimaginable accomplishments.
I would not have survived without them.
And Ryan would not be thriving.
Laughter is a thing.
Like when a condition called aphasia makes him unable to communicate with words, Ryan chooses to smile.
Smiling makes the world go round.
And after losing the ability to use his right arm and hand...
This is my 3D workspace.
Ryan taught himself how to use a 3D printer to design all sorts of adaptive tools, ranging from one-handed nail clippers to one-handed toothpaste dispensers.
I want to give back.
So Ryan started putting up posters offering to custom print all of his inventions to people in need, for free.
To change lives would be the best that I could be.
And instead of mourning what he's lost, Ryan is choosing to celebrate all the good he can find.
And you have to find joy in your life. And Ryan has done that.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
That's your news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. See you right back here tomorrow.